four favorites are Vertigo, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Night of the Hunter, and Pinocchio. It seems like you like movies with a sense of adventure or suspense, and you saw a lot of the obvious choices already, but if I were to try and roll all your favorites into one film you didn't have marked as watched, I'd recommend The Fall. Like Vertigo, someone falling is an important part of the story. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's a visually stunning adventure. Like The Night of the Hunter, it has some dark undertones and explores the conflict between good and evil, and it's a fantasy film like Pinocchio. But I think my top choice for you is actually The Wages of Fear. It feels like an adventure where the characters are going on a journey or quest like Raiders of the Lost Ark, but with the darkness of The Night of the Hunter and with the anxiety of Vertigo. Speaking of anxiety, High Anxiety is a parody of Hitchcock's suspense films, but with a lot of emphasis on Vertigo. Kiss Me Deadly is a film noir, and The Night of the Hunter has some noir elements to it, and both movies were released in 1955, and Kitty White sings one of the songs in The Night of the Hunter, and she plays a nightclub singer in Kiss Me Deadly. There's a scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark that was inspired by this movie, and this film involves a man investigating a mystery like Vertigo. A couple other movies that depict a man investigating a mystery or a person that I think you'd enjoy are Laura and The Big Sleep. Since you like Vertigo, I think you should check out Anatomy of a Murder because it's another film from the late 50s starring James Stewart where Saul Bass created both the film poster and the title sequence. But since Anatomy of a Murder is more of a legal drama and Vertigo is a thriller, I want to recommend a few thrillers, and I think you might like Wait Until Dark, High and Low, and Peeping Tom. There were a few Hitchcock films you didn't have marked as watched, but instead of recommending all of them, I'm going to pick the one I think you'd like the most, and that's Dial M for Murder. For some reason, the combination of Vertigo's suspense and Raiders of the Lost Ark's high-stakes tension made me think of a bunch of movies about heists or escapes, so I want to recommend Army of Shadows, Through the Asphalt Jungle, and Rafifi. Since you like Raiders of the Lost Ark, I think you should check out The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Humphrey Bogart's character in this film was a pretty big inspiration on Indiana Jones, both in terms of his outfit and his sort of stubborn personality, and both movies are adventure films involving a quest for treasure. The Mummy is also an action-adventure film involving treasure hunting. Lawrence of Arabia came to mind because I think there are a lot of shots in Raiders of the Lost Ark that were inspired by Lawrence of Arabia. I also think you might like The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance because like Raiders of the Lost Ark, it follows the hero's journey, and like Vertigo, James Stewart is in it. I wrote down Out of the Past when I was thinking of Vertigo because both films involve private investigators, detectives, and San Francisco, but its visual style is much more comparable to The Night of the Hunter, and like The Night of the Hunter, it stars Robert Mitchum. Since you're a fan of Pinocchio, I think you should check out Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, but I might be biased because it's my favorite Pinocchio. Ponyo, like Pinocchio, is an animated fantasy film where the titular character wants to be human. And one more animated film I think you'd like since you like Pinocchio is My Life as a Zucchini because both films involve childhood, family, trust, wanting to belong, and emotional growth.